Hello everybody, I am Baltmatrix, and today we are taking a look at MiniForce Penta-X Combiner. Now, this whole set was purchased at CFR.com. Unfortunately, at the time of this recording, it is currently unavailable, but if you add this set to your wish list, he'll be sure to go ahead and see if he can find it for you. I picked this up, a couple of weeks ago, and I've been struggling to figure out how to best review this. So I'm just going to do it the old style of we're going to take a look at each one of these things individually, and then we'll go from there. Now, the one thing you need to realize about each one of these bots is, or one of these toys, is they are gigantic. They are bigger than just about anything Transformers-wise on the map. The smallest one, this guy, Volt, this is the smallest vehicle. This is Ultimate Megatron from Transformers Cyberverse in his vehicle mode. It is roughly the same size. This is the smallest one. Let that sink in for a little bit. This whole set is not cheap. I ended up paying quite a bit for it, but I did have a good coupon at CFR.com. So if you want to pick this set up, head down to the affiliate link down in my description and go ahead and pick it up, but I'm warning you, it ain't cheap. However, there is a KO version of this set. That link is also down there in the description, and that is significantly cheaper. It's like well over half off. So go down, check these figures out down there and go over to CFR.com and check it out, see if you want to pick this set up. All right, enough shilling aside, let's go ahead and take a look at this set. The first in the set that we're going to take a look at today is Volt. He is a blue Hummer, and it is molded in, well, it's molded in plastic. What can I say? It's really cool, and this thing is heavy. I am shocked at just how heavy this is. The figure does come with this giant rifle that does pop off and disconnect and can be held in robot mode, though it is in vehicle mode meant to just peg in to this peg right here and snap into this clip. We'll put that off to the side. Again, I want to show you this figure next to Ultimate Beef Tank. They're roughly the same size. And remember, as I said, Volt here is the smallest of all of the vehicles. So that will give you an idea of the size of the figure that we're looking at. Now, this figure does transform. All of them transform into different robot modes. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. To start off with, come to the top of the vehicle mode and unpeg these panels like that. And then we want to reach inside to the top and unpeg the feet, and they peg in to the sides of the doors. So those will fold out all the way like this, and just straighten those legs out. Then come to the back and push out the feet, which is, honestly, this is the hardest part of the transformation, is pushing these feet out. And then we can stand the Hummer up. Though I wouldn't, because in this way, it's a bit top heavy. Now, coming to the front of the Hummer, we're going to first reach inside and unpeg these bits. So unpeg the doors, and these sections will flail out a little bit. And we can take the doors and fold them out, flip these sections up, come underneath the front and fold out the arms, come to the front and unpeg it just enough so that you can grab the shoulders, fold the shoulders out, flip out the fists, rotate the shoulders down, and then take the back or the front of the vehicle mode and fold it up over the chest, and that will snap into place. But before you do that, just kind of flip that down a little bit and fold this section back that's above the head, fold the back panels down, and there we go. Volt is in its robot mode. Volt's robot mode is blue, charcoal, black, and white, with a little bit of yellow there up at the shoulders and a little bit of blue or cyan in the eyes. The overall aesthetic of the robot mode works really well. Only thing I wish is that these panels slid down a little bit. They do have a tendency to get in the way just a smidge. The overall look of the figure is really good. I like it a lot. I've said that twice or 3 times now. It's a perfectly serviceable robot mode. Now, height-wise, let's take a look at it next to an MP10 Prime. He's almost the same size as MP10 Prime. Poseability for the figure is limited. The poseability for the figure is okay. Head is on a swivel, shoulders are on ratchets, and then it's got some in and out movement, side to side movement at the shoulder. Not even, or just a little over 90-degree bend at the elbow. No fist articulation. Legs can kick forward, though they do hit the side skirts here. They can kick back and they can kick out, though they constantly hit the side skirts. Knees do bend. No ankle articulation. Poseability is limited on all of these guys. You've kind of got Super Sentai poseability. Nothing great. You're not going to be able to get super dynamic poses out of them, but I kind of don't expect you to. Returning the figure to vehicle mode is pretty easy. Start by flipping the chest up and getting it in line with the panel that's just behind the head. Take the arms, point them forward, fold the shoulders up, and then that whole section, or the full front section, will peg into place. Then fold the fists in and collapse the arms forward and then down, like that. Come to the sides and peg the panels in, flip the back panels up, collapse the toes, then fold the legs up into the vehicle mode. Snap them into place, and then fold the panels down, and they peg into place, and then attach the gun. And we're done. So, let's move on to the next one. Next up, we're going to take a look at Lucy's cement truck. It is a pink and white cement truck, and it is a big figure using Ultimate Megatron from Cyberverse for scale. You can see it's about the same width and definitely longer. All right, get out of here, Megatron. Transformation for this figure is simpler than Volt's. So to start off with, first unpeg the arms, and then fold the then fold the smokestacks up along the arms. Come to the front, and we will flip the front down a little bit. And then there are toes hidden in here. So split that open, flip out some feet. Now come to the drum and unpeg the drum from the crotch and actually twist the entire front of the vehicle mode around 180 degrees. Come to the back and flip out the back wheels, flip up the shoulders, and then push the whole figure down, split the legs, straighten everything out, and stand the figure up. Last thing to do is actually take now that we've collapsed the torso, take the drum and fold it down and snap it into place to hold the hips in place, like that. One thing I forgot is the side mirrors do fold down along the legs. You've got chrome, pink, very light black, gray, and white going on here. I think the vehicle mode is cool. The robot mode works incredibly well. That pink, black, and white look works really well, and it just looks like a super muscular cat robot. Head sculpt is also really good. It kind of reminds me of a football player, and the bright pink eyes work well. The figure's poseability is greatly hampered by the fact that it's got this giant drum hanging off its back. So the one thing we can do is literally just rip the drum off. It does come off and then can be used as a weapon, which I'll show you here in just a second. Poseability, head is on a swivel. Shoulders are ratcheted, both circular for the full around, and then for the hinge, ratchet hinge in and out. There is no swivel, but the elbows do bend 90 degrees, and the fists do open and close, and they do rotate, and the fists are ratcheted, which I'm shocked at. Ratchets in the hips, forward and out, ratchets in the knees, though the knees don't bend all that easily, and then the toes, even the toes are ratcheted, which is insane. Now, for the attack gimmick, you take the drum off, fold these handles out, and then place them in the hands. And Sammy then has this drum wind gust attack, I believe is what it is. I've never seen the show, sorry. But it's really bad because it just doesn't hold the drum well at all, and the drum keeps falling. So my thought was that you peg the drum into maybe the crotch or something, or you just hold it up against the figure like this, and then somehow get the hands to hold it better. But unfortunately, even there, nope, does not work at all. I really wish the drum just pegged in somehow. You would think that, oh look, there's some pegs. No, those don't peg in at all. The only other thing I've been able to come up with is maybe getting the peg into the screw holes, but the screw holes aren't big enough either. That's a shame. Other than that failure of being able to hold the weapon, I think the figure works really well. It's really nice looking. The pink is not a hot pink, but rather this very cool pink, which works, just plain and simple works. Transformation back into vehicle mode is pretty easy. The directions aren't the greatest, but they get the job done, and it's just a question of finding where everything pegs in and remembering to, extend the body. The one thing you have to remember is the knees are supposed to collapse backwards when you are transforming it back. If you don't do that correctly, it won't work well. And then take the shoulder, collapse that in, and then these little pieces of plastic, pink plastic, that come off the sides of the bottom of the fists will actually peg into the underside of the alt mode. And there we go. One cement truck. I like it. I think it's cool. Next up is Max the Dump Truck, and he is by far the biggest of all of the alt modes. Megatron for scale. Alright. Transformation is, I think, the easiest of all of them. Now, this figure does form the torso of the combined mode. So, pull the top of the dump truck off, fold these sections down, and flip out the handle. Come to the top of the bed and flip the legs out and fold out the heels. Flip the legs forward. Come to the front of the vehicle mode and unpeg the front section. Stand the figure up, pull the shoulders out, flip out the arms, and then just straighten everything out and stand this guy up. Of all of the bots, he is by far the least dynamic. He is just a big, beefy brick of a bot. I can't help but like him, though. Head sculpt works really well. Again, looks like a cat-themed football player. And he's by far the tallest of all of them. It's just a big old beefy boy. MP10 Prime for scale. And yes, I forgot to do an MP10 Prime scale for Lucy. She's roughly the same size. But, I mean, look at him. He's so much bigger. Yeah, he's a big beefy bot. Poseability is very limited. Head, limited swivel. He does have a ratchet in the shoulder, ratchet in the elbow, but the elbow is limited. No fist articulation. Legs can move forward and back, limited. No in and out. Knees do bend for the transformation, and toes have some articulation forward and back. You're not going to be posing this dude all that much, to be honest. I mean, you're just not. I can't help but love him, though. He's just a big, beefy boy, and I love him, love him, love him. Okay, transformation back. Shoulders forward, and then move the arms, or I should say, don't turn the arms back. And then you want to push the arms together, but first flip out the section over the head, and then push the arms in. That will peg the front section in. Then take the legs, put them together, fold in the feet, rotate the legs around, and they will peg into place in the butt, like that. Then we could fold the fists back, put the figure down, fix the camera. Oh, I forgot to mention, this shield can be held in the hands or in this little hook on the side. Fold that in, flip those up, and then peg them into place in the bottom of the feet, like that. And it just kind of sits there. And that's it. Let's move on to the next one. Next up is Sammy the Helicopter, and this is my least favorite of the set, simply because I don't particularly care for the vehicle mode, and I really don't like the robot mode. comparison between MP10, or MP10 Prime, geez, MP10 Megatron, yes. Okay, enough. So, first thing we're going to do is pull off the blades. They just pop right off, and then we're going to come to the front and pull the gun off, and then take the head, or the front of the vehicle mode, and fold it down, and it will peg into place in these sections here, covering up that big unsightly combiner port. But before we do that, split the legs apart, and then pull them down like that. Then we could combine that up, flip the canopy back up. When I did that, when I plugged it in, the head popped up. So we'll do that again real quick for you. So that, and there we go. Fold the arms down. That's pretty much it. The only thing we need to do is attach the gun in this mode, which will peg into his arm like that, and then reattach the blades, which you would think that the blades could be hand carried in use or, you know, pegged in somewhere in this mode. You can't. I have not been able to figure out a way, and there's nothing in the directions that say that you can easily just peg the blades in. One thing I do like to do is to keep the blades from moving around too much is fold the wings straight back. That way you end up with a cool little X gimmick that you got going here. The overall aesthetic is okay. These feet do articulate. They actually do bend, so you can stand the figure up a little bit better. But he's kind of stuck in this legs splayed out, and that cannon is just way too big for the rest of the body. And it's not my favorite look. Head sculpt, however, works well. Looks kind of like a combination between a football helmet and a pilot's helmet, and the green eyes work. The overall coloring of white, red, black, and then a little bit of orange work well. It's just not my favorite of the bot modes. It's just not my favorite. Simply because it just feels like there's a lot going on, but he can't do much, if that makes any sense. Alright. Size-wise, compared to MP10 Prime, he is a little shorter. Now, getting Sammy back into vehicle mode is also a bit of annoyance. So you end up just folding everything back, but the blades just fall off. It's really annoying. To get the legs to fold back up, you have to push these little green buttons, and they will slide back up into place, or then they then can slide back up into place. Straighten out the feet, combine those up, push the head back, flip the canopy up, fix the canopy, and then fold the arms back. I really wish there was a way that the arms pegged in better. They just don't. And there are a couple of movements that the direction says that the arms are supposed to slide up, the shoulders are supposed to do something else. They can flip out like this, but every time I do it, it feels like I'm going to break the thing. So, technically, yes, these are supposed to flip out forward, but as I said, I feel like I'm going to break them every time I do. And oops, I messed something up with the putting the legs back. They are supposed to go up and over that section before you peg them in. Then you peg the cannon underneath. Come on, snap back in. Every time I push on the canopy, though, it collapses, which is annoying. And then we put the blades back on, which, if you haven't noticed already, have a tendency to fall off really easily. And they are a little bent. Nothing a little bit of a boil water or water boil bath wouldn't fix. It's okay. Again, this is my least favorite of the entire set. The last bot we're taking a look at is Leo the Tank. Now, a little bit of warning. Leo was originally the villain of the series, the evil cat kitty. But, you know, he joined up with the good guys at some point. So, spoilers. The tank itself is definitely not a construction vehicle, but, we'll let it slide. Doing the Megatron comparison, you can see that Leo is roughly the same size, maybe a little bit bigger. Now, one thing to note is the giant robot hands are stored on the back of the tank mode. So if we pull those off, it's still roughly the same size. Leo's transformation is pretty darn easy, though I do have a big caveat. You have to take the entire turret section of the tank and pull it off. So if you lose the entire turret section, his tank mode is utterly useless. start off with, take the giant robot foot and fold it around and put it to the back of the figure. Come down to the legs, and the legs will fold out from underneath. Flip out the toes, and then you're supposed to be able to flip out these shin guards, but good luck with that. Once you've got the legs flipped out, come into the crotch area and flip the giant robot connector port around, and then stand the figure up. Next, come to what will be the shoulders and pull them out away from the figure, and then open up these sections in the back, fold the fists down, and take the entire torso and slide it down. And I can't remember if there's a button that you need to push in order to do that. Nope. Oh, right. Yes, there is a button right here on the chest. So push that button and slide it down. And then the last thing that we're going to do is take the tank top and situate it so that it will be pegged into the arm. And in order to do that, we have to fold that section, that shoulder section up, and then this whole thing. Now for the arms, pull them out, and then we could take the whole tank section, snap it over the elbow, and then he's got a big old gun. The dark gray, black, navy blue, and yellow work incredibly well for the figure. I love the aesthetic of it. It's not the most stable of the figures, though. And it's definitely the most wobbly. Like, I mean, look at those legs. They tend to wobble a bit. The head sculpt is quite good, again, with the football motif, with the nice powder blue eyes. And I really like the look of this bot. I really do. Size-wise, he is about the same size as MP10, and then the giant fists can then peg into the back, and you get kind of this weird look. So let me do it here for you real quick. You can then have, come on, lift it up, and you've got kind of a mortar cannon look coming off the back there, which I like. Overall, it's okay. It's not the best of the bunch. Oh, you know what? I completely forgot to push his legs in. That helps with the posability quite a bit. And that helps with the stability of the figure quite a bit. So that looks a little bit better. Completely forgot about that. I like it, but the ratchets in the legs and the knees, I think, are looser here. And getting these things flipped out is just a nightmare. I ended up having to grab a plastic sword from one of the previous Last Night primes and just wedge them out. It's not perfect. Like, the ratchets here in the hips don't work all that well. In and out, knees, arms, in and out, elbows, knees, toes, haha! Transforming Leo back is pretty easy. Simply collapse the arms and the shoulders again. Take the legs, pull them apart, fold up the toes, fold up the knee pads, flip out the crotch section, flip the legs up. And if you're thinking that, oh, well, I could do like a little tank bot, you kind of can. Let me show you that real quick. You can do kind of a little gun tank version, which that's pretty cool. Take the torso, pull it away from the body. And then collapse the arms and gotta flip the fists up. They will peg into place, or they should. Collapse the arms, collapse the shoulders, flip the rear section up. And then once you've got everything pegged in, drop the turret back over his chest and extend the turret, or the barrel. And there we go. Ha-ha! Now that we've taken a look at each one of these vehicles individually, let's go ahead and get them combined up into their giant robot form. First off, we're going to start with the feet. These guys, Lucy and Leo, they form the legs. So to start with, we'll start with Sammy here. And first, fold out the connector, unpeg the fists, then click the canopy in and ratchet the legs all the way up like that, and then stick the arms straight up, and that's pretty much it. I mean, oh, right, got to turn the toe around, and yeah, that's it. We have a leg. That's all she wrote. Oh no! All right, now for Leo. First, unpeg all this stuff. Take the turret, slap that down, peg the leg into place, then take the knees, unpeg them, and they will fold up like this. So flip these sections all the way out, unpeg them, and then flip the knees all the way up, and they will ratchet to a point, and then that's it. Legs are ready to go. Next, we'll do the arms, and we'll start with Volt. Unpeg the gun and put that off to the side. Oh, and then come to Sammy and grab the cannon, pull that off and put that off to the side, and just grab all the accessories and put them off to the side. Now, for this guy, first, flip out this peg in the front. That'll be apparent why we do that later. Grab the connectors here and flip those panels up. Unpeg these sections. Grab the entire center. Oh, yeah, grab the legs, flip them up. And then grab the entire section and pull it out away from the body. Then fold the legs back up. Fold these up like that. Top panels, fold those closed, and then come into the inside, flip out that section, turn it around, and that will be an arm. So we'll grab one of the fists, specifically the right fist, peg it into place, and that is an arm. Oh, gotta make sure that these are snapped into place, otherwise they're gonna flop about. And that's it. An arm. So for Sammy, this is a little weird. You're actually going to need to do a little parts forming here. So take the canopy and actually rip it off and then put it off to the side. That will allow you to plug in the hand like that. And then fold these sections up. And that's kind of it. The only thing I like to do is fold the fists out to the side a little bit like that. And then we can pose these as we want later. You'll see why. And that's pretty much it. That's the arms. And then finally, for Max, we're going to sort of transform him into his robot mode. Sort of. So first off, unpeg the top of the dump truck. Grab the arms, or what are the robot arms, and pull them away. Take the legs, fold them out and down just a little bit. Then we can flip the canopy around like that. Turn the arms 90 degrees and then close them up over the body. Come to the back of the driver area, and there is a helmet in here. So we'll go ahead and pull that out and then put that on. And that will just snap into place. And then take the legs and fold them, or split them apart, and then fold them up. And they don't really peg in anywhere. They just kind of fold up. I wish they did peg in somewhere. That would be nice, but just fold them up. And then start attaching things. So we'll start with some legs. One leg. Another leg. And stand it up. And pray that it doesn't fall over. On Leo, I did forget to flip out his heel. So flip that out. Unfortunately, Lucy doesn't have a heel, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Then for Max here, take the canopy from Sammy, and that clip will peg in right there. And it's actually very, very easy to peg that in. And then this guy, you can fold it down and peg it in, but I prefer not to. clips over here will peg into those, but before that, split it like that, because otherwise it's not going to peg into place. Let's attach some arms. First off, Sammy. And Volt. Oh, man. And attaching these arms requires way more force than you would think initially. Now, the blades. They're supposed to just go on Sammy. I haven't found anywhere else for them to go. But you know what? Just for the sake of the review, I'll put them on, and then they'll fall off eventually. Okay. There's supposed to be a joint in here, but there isn't. So I like to take the arms, turn them around, and just point them straight down like that. You don't have to do that. That's not required, but I like to do it just to give the blades a little more clearance. And then there is the question of his weapon. Okay, so weapon. Take the barrel off of Leo. Come on. Really, this isn't that hard. There we go. And take the cannon here. First, plug the barrel of Leo's cannon in and fold up the handle on Volt's. And plug it into the top of Sammy's. And there we go. That is its gun. That is Penta-X's gun. And to peg in Penta-X's gun, there is a peg hole here in the handle that rests or plugs into nicely. Then you can wrap his hand around it. And there we go. This Penta-X combination is gigantic. It is huge, and I love it. There are some problems, but we'll get into that in a little bit. First off, size comparison. Here is MP-10 Prime. And here is Titans class Predaking. It's the same size as Titans class Predaking. It's just gigantic. Now, Predaking is going to be way more posable than this thing. This does not have the same posability as that Titans Returns figure. The posability consists of, well, pretty much Super Sentai posability. Head has only got that much movement. Arms are on very, very loose ratchets. The weapon does have a tendency to fall out of his hand. Hands do open and close with no issues, which is a nice change. There is posability in the knees, but I'm not even going to try and move it because the figure is really lacking in heels, and this crotch piece that is the canopy falls off pretty routinely. So the lack of heels, especially on Lucy's set, so there aren't any heel, there's no heel over here, it's just this wheel and this strut, is a big problem because it does greatly affect the figure's ability to stand well. But it does have some posability in the hips, but no real posability for knees. I still love this thing. It's absolutely gigantic and ridiculous, and it works for me. It really does. And I wish I still had the other MiniForce Combiner close. It's currently in storage. The other MiniForce Combiner comes up to about here on this guy. I've seen pictures of it online where that's roughly the height difference. It's just gigantic. It's gigantic and it's cool in the ways that the other one wasn't. This one has its own problems, but I can look past most of them because most of the combiners that I've gotten a hold of from third party or over the years have had similar issues. I mean, this is all classic Super Sentai issues that I can look past because this thing just looks so cool. Now, the only complaint I really have, other than the lack of posability, is the lack of a heel from her, or that mecha, and the fact that it looks like Sammy is just a robot slightly transformed into a helicopter and is hanging off as an arm. That's that. I hit the camera. That is the worst figure of the bunch, personally, in my opinion. I still love this set. I still think it's goofy, but it's won me over. So, folks, Let me know what you think of this giant heaping pile of awesome down in the comments. Be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and please be sure to follow me on patreon.com. Your financial contribution every month is going to enable me to keep doing this. Thank you so much for watching. I have been Baltmatrix, and I'll catch you next time.